Hey, Angel fans, and welcome back to Halo Territory with Mike DiGiovanna, former LA Times baseball writer and host of the show, and Mark Trumbo, the former Angels slugger and our regular co-host. Mark, good to see you. How you doing today?
Everything's good. It's
Good.
school orientation for our daughter,
All
and
right.
I'm here with you. We're going to discuss a few topics that we didn't get to on the previous episode, and some new topics, including the first game of the series against the Guardians.
Yeah, the Angels welcome Jo Adell back to Anaheim with a really nice video tribute in the first inning of Monday night's game. Joe, of course, was traded to Cleveland for catching prospect Jacob Cozart on August 3rd. And Joe showed his appreciation for all the love by hitting a tie-breaking RBI single in the fifth inning of the Guardians' 4-2 win over the Angels in the series opener. Well, we caught up with Joe before the game, and let's have a listen to what he had to say about a number of topics.
What's the adjustment period been like for you?
Honestly, the coolest part about being over here is just jumping right into games and being right in that playoff race. That's where we are right now. We're expecting to come out here and win every game, and really to step in the middle of the lineup and be a guy to help the team do that. I'm really honored and glad for the chance to be able to be a part of this and do this. So really just playing baseball and trying to win a game. Honestly, thinking about that made the transition that much easier.
What has that been like? I know here you didn't really get a chance to play meaningful games late in the year. Was that like over here?
It was huge. I mean, it's huge just showing it to the park and taking those bats that are unselfish. Every time you get up here, it's like we're trying to move a runner, we're trying to make something work, we're trying to find a way to leave the game with a W. And I feel like when the focus is about how to win and how to do that, being the best version of yourself every day is easy.
Adjustment in the direction of your swing here, and how did that happen?
Honestly, I kind of kept a lot of the things the same. When I first got over in Cleveland, there were some things that we wanted to discuss as far as timing goes, about how to kind of get that timing back where I wanted. I was kind of really starting to feel through some of those things right before the trade deadline, but really kind of feeling better as far as the timing goes, being more consistent on my timing. So not really a whole lot of directional stuff, just more of how I'm getting ready to hit pitches.
Now, that hit gave Adell 13 RBIs in his last six games and 18 RBIs in his first 18 games with the Guardians. He also had an 861 OPS, four homers, and five doubles in those 18 games. Now, we heard Joe say he didn't make any major adjustments to his swing, but what do you think, Mark? Are you seeing anything maybe a little more subtle in there?
I looked at it extensively, at least I could, and tried to compare and contrast before you had even spoke to him. So that question about had he changed anything direction-wise came from me. I think that he is staying more square. Why I thought it was possibly the direction part of it. I think we may have a graphic too that we can
Yes,
throw
if
up
you're
at some
watching on
point.
YouTube, we have two pictures here. In the top one with the Angels, he's clearly, I don't want to say bailing out, but his weight is definitely shifted forward into the left side. And on the one below the Guardians, he looks, the stance looks rather perfect. Mark, why don't you pick it up from here?
This is what I clued into, and it looks like, if especially for those that aren't watching, the top graphic is it Joe with the Angels. The pitch is probably some sort of slider, but it's going to be most definitely be on the corner. It's away, it's elevated, and his lower body is already opening up. So the intent to me looks like he is looking to hammer this ball into left field, left center field. With the Guardians, I'm seeing a guy that is giving himself a far better chance to hit to all fields. And it looks like someone that's not trying to help the ball into the air. That is a concept that can be very tough because, especially in today's game, you want to hit the ball in the air. But when you try and do it artificially, it usually ends the exact opposite. And a lot of foul balls, a lot of whiffs, a lot of ground balls, actually. Hitting down and through it. Do you want to chop down? No, you're not looking to chop down on the ball. But the swing is going, do you swing up? Do you swing down? Ted Williams, slide up swing, all these things. There's elements of both. The hands start higher. They're going to have to come down. They're going to have to level out. What everybody really wants is length in the hitting zone. You don't want an extreme. On the broadcast, they've talked about Neto not having as dramatic an uppercut. with Savant, it's very easy to go and see where things stand. They have done an excellent job if you're into that stuff. And Zach has attempted to level out his swing, I think, a bit. And Joe, his production speaks for itself. And hearing those comments, I guess a question for you, hearing about him talk about coming with the mentality of just trying to win every game, that's got to be a stark contrast compared to being out of it in what month?
June.
Okay.
I'm trying to be
You did
nice
say
here.
that they had some hot streaks and showed some signs of life at some point, maybe that New York series, but it's been a while.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was sort of our next topic with Joe. The Guardians entered Tuesday night's game 2.5 games back, the Chicago White Sox in the Central, and a half game ahead of Houston for that third wild card spot. Now, Adell certainly, as Mark mentioned, seems energized by the move from a last place club to a contender. Now, I couldn't remember the exact circumstances, Mark, of your trades from Anaheim to Arizona to Seattle, and did you have a move like that? If not, could you see in other players who came to or left losing situations, went to winning situations, you circled back with them when you faced them later in the year? What can a move like that do for a player, and how does it change your outlook? Because, man, it did sure seem like, we saw a lot of guys trying to put up a lot of numbers in the first half for the Angels when they were pretty well out of it by then. It's a little different of an approach when you get to the park every day when you're just focused on winning a ball game. And I saw that with the Dodgers, as good as they are and have been for so long. That was Dave Roberts' focus. How can we win this ball game today? What can I do as a player, as a coach, whatever, to help a team win a game today? And that way you don't worry about August and June or July. And it's a concept you would think everybody has, but as an individual player, I'm guessing that's not always the case.
Are you referring to me being on the competitive version of the Angels, circa 11, 12, and 13, then going to the 100-loss Diamondbacks?
That would I didn't remember exactly what the Diamondbacks status was at the time. I knew they weren't exactly contending.
The Dodgers were dragging us around. I think we
they
played
were.
them 19 times, and they've won at least 17. It felt like maybe more.
Yeah.
I think the better example is getting traded from Seattle when I was there for about a half season, and a 500 club if I ever saw one. The definition of win one, lose one, win one, lose one. We really couldn't get anything going. Not to say we didn't have some talent, but I got traded to the Orioles the next year, the lone playoff team I was on. Wild card game, one and done. But it was a fun game. It was in the Rogers Center. It was rocking, and I contributed a little bit with a home run early, and not much after that. We couldn't. The Blue Jays were deeper on the pitching side, but that is what it is. However, the mindset of playing for a team that is going places is completely different. The focus really does become bigger than yourself. You want to contribute, you want to put up big numbers, but when the team itself is not in any kind of race, you're playing for yourself, essentially. You can try and say all the right things, but if it's not a playoff appearance, then you have to be a bit selfish. There's no other way around it.
Is there any way in these last 5 weeks of the season for the Angels, even though they're out of it, that they can try to at least incorporate some of that mentality, considering they do have a few new players in the lineup? I don't know. And like we said, we've seen some improvement in Zach Neto's approach. My goodness, if he can carry that, this approach, and where he's not trying to hit everything 430 feet to the pull side, that's going to be a huge benefit for the Angels. I don't know. I'm still trying to get a gauge on Mo Baller and what he's going to bring to this team. Sean Wells hurt right now, but it just seems like there's got to be something the Angels can do to maybe set some kind of tone for going into spring training, that this is going to be a different team, more contact, fewer strikeouts than we've seen for the last 2 years.
I'll give you a couple options quickly. I say one option is to play spoiler and do what you can to relish the opportunity to ruin someone else's playoff chances.
Yeah.
Or like the Halo Honk Roger Lodge, the season starts anew, whatever date you want to pick, tomorrow, the next day. Half joking, but wipe the slate clean, and it's a very new looking team. There's new guys in the lineup. There might be more, and probably will be, and start looking ahead for the future as if this is almost next season already. You're auditioning for a starting job. You have a new boss in town, in Mozeliak, and he evaluates talent a lot different than his predecessor did. So I think these guys, take Neto, for example, it seems like he's tightened it up. I think you would probably agree. Why exactly is that? I think part of it is he knows that there's a different set of eyes on him, and the expectations might be different.
True. Hey, we're going to take a quick break for a word from our sponsors. When we come back, we'll finish up our conversation about Jo Adell and talk a little bit more about another ex-Angel, Logan O'Hoppe.
Bella, where? I don't know where Bella is, but I know how to take care of my pup.
Kratz, while you find Bella, today's episode is sponsored by the ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Program. The ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Program offers customizable accident and illness plans that can fit your budget, your lifestyle, and even your pet's particular quirks. Because let's be honest, vet bills can add up fast. And when it's time to submit a claim, it's easy. Just use their app and receive reimbursement for eligible vet bills directly into your bank account so you can get back to focusing on what really matters, your pet. To explore coverage, visit aspcapetinsurance.com/FOUL. That's aspcapetinsurance.com/FOUL. This is a paid advertisement. Insurance is underwritten by either Independence American Insurance Company or United States Fire Insurance Company and produced by PTZ Insurance Agency Limited. The ASPCA is not an insurer and is not engaged in the business of insurance.
And welcome back to Halo Territory with Mark Trumbo and Mike DiGiovanna. Well, Jo Adell had one of the greatest defensive games in Major League history when he robbed not one, not two, but 3 homers in the Angels' 1-0 win over Seattle on April 4th. The Angels planned a bobblehead night to commemorate that game when the Mariners returned to Anaheim in September 16th to be exact. And they will still go through with that event despite the trade of Adell to Cleveland. And on top of that, they're also giving away a Jo Adell football jersey on Sunday when they play the Philadelphia Phillies. I almost said Eagles. And I just thought that was funny. So we did ask Joe about that before Monday's game. See what he had to say.
Joe, they're still giving away your bobblehead, and they're also doing a Jo Adell jersey. What are your thoughts of that?
Well, yeah, it's kind of crazy. I guess the jersey's being given away next series here at home, and I was kind of glad maybe it wasn't while I was here because I feel like that might have been a little weird. But it's cool though. It's it's a tribute to me, and the bobblehead of that crazy moment that we had in that crazy game against Seattle. It's pretty cool that they would recognize that and do that for me here in Anaheim. So like I said, it's crazy to see how far I've come as a player, and where I was. I remember where I was when I was younger and trying to figure out how to be in the big leagues, how to stay, and all those memories and great things of moments where I wasn't my best. Every time I come here, I'll be reminded of being the player I am and how I was able to become who I am today.
Well, as awkward as it may seem to give a Jo Adell bobblehead away in September, kudos to the Angels for following through on this giveaway. Obviously, they probably had, all the bobbleheads were ordered soon after that game, shipped, sitting there. What are you going to do with, 20, 30,000 bobbleheads? And I think, the jersey seems a little weird to me, but the bobblehead, that was one of the more memorable games I've seen in Angel Stadium. I've seen most of the memorable games in there. And I guess for me, it's like, yeah, Jo Adell maybe didn't have the career we all thought or hoped he would have in Anaheim. He had one really good year in 25, but this guy spent almost 10 years, I believe it was, with this organization. Mark, what do you think of this whole decision by the team? You like it? You think it's a good move on their part?
Great. I'm not a hot topic for me. I think it's a nice thing. They no doubt already. You got to do something with them. So the timing works here. I think more than that, Joe is a very classy guy. We've said that before, but hearing his comments, I don't think a professional PR person could script. And a better way to talk about your tenure with a former employer. He said things that I think resonated. Well, if they don't resonate, then I don't know what to tell you, because no bitterness, no animosity towards his old club, just gratitude. And it seems like he is well aware of his career arc, struggles, improvements. And he was another guy, we've said it many times, as have others, a bit rushed and developed at the big leagues and took his lumps. There were some of the ugliest plays, unfortunately. But to his credit, it doesn't seem to really bother him. Doesn't seem like he was all that embarrassed by some of these things. And I think each person's individual tolerance for things like that might be different. I would probably still be dreading some of those, but it wouldn't be for the better. It's best to move on. You shank one in golf. Hey, Ben golfs, by the way. Pet insurance ad just for you. But I'm sure, Ben, you've shanked one or two in your golfing career, but you got to move on from it. If you dwell on it, it's no good. And Joe has done a very good job, and Cleveland's getting the best version of him. I don't like saying who lost a trade, but I do know that Cleveland was hoping for some thump from a right-handed hitter, and it sounds like his defense has been sharp too.
Yeah, Stephen Vogt, their manager, mentioned that before Monday's game, that they really haven't had a big right-handed thumper in their lineup. And boy, he goes there. They stick him right in a 3-hole, the cleanup spot, and 18 RBIs, 18 ribeyes in 18 games, man. Nothing wrong with that. So, yeah, I think as long as Joe continues to make more consistent contact, stay away from that sweeper off the plate, he's going to be a nice addition for the Guardians. Well, another player who has moved on from Anaheim and seems a little happier about it was catcher Logan O'Hoppe, who was traded along with reliever Chase Silseth to the Texas Rangers for minor leaguer infielder Angel Arredondo. O'Hoppe was optioned to AAA right after that deal and recalled by the Rangers over the weekend. He had some interesting things to say in a Dallas Morning News article written by Evan Grant, my longtime colleague. Here's the headline: Logan O'Hoppe got his spark back after trade to Rangers. Now can he add to the offense? And here's we're going to have a couple of excerpts from the story. I'll read the first one. Quote, "Not only was I willing, but needed is the word I'd use for it," O'Hoppe said of being optioned to the minors, where he slashed .328 with a 1.037 OPS over 15 games. Quote, "I was very confident with what I was doing, wasn't convicted in really anything I was doing on the field, but I knew that what I had done in the past was in there, so when I was told I got optioned, I was excited for it. I was actually more excited than if I just came over here. I got that spark back in me, like waking up in the morning and feeling really excited to get to the field again. Enjoying the game again is what I got out of it. That may not sound like a lot on paper, but it's a pretty big deal to me." Now, Mark, we heard a lot about Logan and all that pressure and tension that seemed to be building up in him maybe a month, 6 weeks leading into this trade. And it almost seemed like that somebody stuck a pin in that balloon for him when he got dealt and goes right to AAA. Is that what you saw in him?
I think so. Just to clarify, that first sentence, I believe, read, "I wasn't very confident." If you said "I was very confident,"
Oh,
I don't think
okay.
you're right.
I might have read that wrong.
To make sure people scrutinize every last detail of what we do for some reason. But I think, in contrast with the way Joe handled things and the things he said, a lot of fans have not been in love with this. Part of it was probably due to some of the words being clipped and taken a bit out of context by that Sleeper Angels. I don't know if it's AI or some guy, in the mom's basement, but it usually, I'm going to say it's some sort of aggregate thing. It picked the worst part of it, and without more information, it sounded quite selfish. It almost as if, can't be happier to be out of that place. What a disaster! Didn't help me at all, and it's not exactly what he's saying. Although there was a part towards the end of that article where I think he basically said everyone with the Rangers has been very helpful. immediately almost. I know
Yeah.
that he's talked about them coming up with a plan for him as soon as he got there. Offensively, it appears as if he said it's a very obvious swing change. I think he's just a bit more upright in the box, but that swing looked unchanged to me as far as the path. It looked identical to what we saw here. Pull happy. The one hit he got against the Angels, he smothered a ground ball in the 6 hole. So that's a pitch that, yes, he got a hit on it, but it's a damaged pitch, a mistake. And with the way that, he's really his off-season training rolling over, that is, well, you're going to roll over. It's right there in front of you. So beating up on the AAA competition, said it last episode, say it every time, AAA competition, I don't even know what to call it. Everyone's numbers are huge and very hard to evaluate what you're getting, at least on the offensive side.
All right, we're going to take another quick break for word from our sponsors, and we come back, we'll continue this conversation about Logan O'Hoppe.
One of the things that I wasn't very good at was playing Major League Baseball. One of the things that I'm really good at is sweating. Even now, when I'm not playing, I need hydration. I need to make sure it's convenient. That's why I choose Quince.
Yep, Quince electrolyte stick packs to the rescue, Kratz. They taste great, and the zero sugar options are stevia-free. They're keto-approved, naturally sweetened with fermented rice, and like everything Quince does, they're thoughtfully made and priced well at $20 for 30 servings. They're less than half of the leading brand. Give your body what it really needs to stay hydrated. Go to quince.com/foul for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/FOUL for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/foul. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
And welcome back to Halo Territory with Mark Trumbo and Mike DiGiovanna for a little more of that story that's a little more in context. And O'Hoppe is kind of tired of putting pressure on himself anyway, without blaming the Angels organization. He said that he, quote, needed the change of scenery that came with the trade. Quote, I didn't like the dude in the mirror on or off the field, O'Hoppe said. It was the hardest 4 years of my baseball life over there. It taught me a lot. I'm really grateful for that. Met a lot of good people over there, had a lot of good experiences, but it brought a lot of challenges. And I'd be lying if I said that wasn't true. I wouldn't change anything if I could, but the bottom line is it was hard. I'm really happy that I can use what I learned now and help this team as much as I can to get in the playoffs. And the part that we didn't clip, that was at the end of this segment, he said, quote, I really feel like I had a stroke of luck when I got traded over here. Everybody here has helped me take steps in the right direction. Now, Mark, O'Hoppe was batting 209 with a 565 OPS, 4 homers, and 23 RBIs in 75 games for the Angels when he was traded. We often hear that term, this guy needs a change of scenery. But is this like one of the really classic cases where this is pretty true right here?
How else can you put it? He seems to be happy to be elsewhere, and the Angels fans are probably happy that he is elsewhere. Not trying to be overly critical. He had some success and then he didn't. And a lot of his comments, unfortunately for me, don't sound terribly self-reflective at times, or maybe too much so. It's somewhere in the middle. A lot of me, I statements, and I think that it's hard to really judge. Overly critical on himself, but not always owning up to some of the things he did. I mean, he doesn't talk at all about the hitting changes that I've covered and were put on social media. How did those work out? And who you decided to go there? You decided to buy into that. I don't believe anybody on the Angels told him to go there. And I don't know how open he was. So that maybe they overcoached him. They brought in too many guys. He had too many managers. But all the rest of the guys are subject to the same things. That's part of it. How many hitting coaches did I really resonate with? A few. And it's not their fault. It's just the nature of the game. You got to find a way, even if you don't feel like the help you're getting is totally ideal. And if you're going to seek advice from outside help, and By the way, that happens all the time in season for those that think it doesn't. It's not always as obvious. Sometimes it is, and a lot of guys have their own coaches, so that is not a strange thing. But if he's happy to be where he is, and I know that you like some Instagram posts of looking good in blue, and I guess why not embrace your new environment? That probably will endear him to the Rangers fans. Maybe not so much to the Angels fans, but I think it was long overdue. The production was only going one way, and he needed to go elsewhere to hopefully turn into the player he sees himself as.
Yeah, I hope that happens for him. Let's turn our attention to George Clausen, the rookie right-hander. Now, Monday night start, the numbers they looked okay on the surface. He gave up 3 runs, 2 of them earned, 6 hits, struck out 3, walked 3 in 5 1/3 innings. But Mark, do you notice a slight difference in pitch usage and a pretty big difference in how he attacked lefties and righties, I understand?
Just looking at one of the reports that it is AI generated, but that is kind of what it takes to pump something out this quickly. If you have the graphic and can put it up at some point,
I'm going to put this up, and I'm going to let Mark explain it because
it looks overly complicated. It's not as much. Let's take the top right. This is going to be there's pitch grades. I don't look as much at the stuff and the stuff plus. If you really know what you're looking for, you don't need an explanation. But just looking at the pitch usage in the top right, he threw 46% slider, 44% fastball. That's a lot of sliders. Now, he's got a good one, but if you're going to lean on it that heavily, all of the hitters are going to get a look at it. They're going to know what to expect out of it, and you're going to have to land a lot of them for strikes too. And he's done a pretty good job of doing that. His pitch efficiency, for a guy that has struggled with walks before, I think it's been pretty good so far. Now, one of the issues, and this has shown up on a number of these reports, is his accuracy and pitch locations to left-handed hitters. This one graded out as an F. Most of them have been a D, not much better. Maybe one was improved. And why they grade out as some of these Fs and Ds, the clusters are not ideal. He's not repeating locations. He's not living on the edges. Some of these sliders are just balls out of the hand and easy takes, not setting up anything that will come after it. And some of the fastballs, well, a lot of them in this case to lefties, caught the heart of the plate. And the Guardians hitters were a number of balls hit very hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard to reason watching how crisp they look with an identical record to the Rangers, who I know that wasn't the best version of the Rangers, but this seems like a much better ball club. Cleveland starter Messick has a fastball. It's an invisible if there ever was one. Grades out a ridiculous plus 26, I believe.
Wow.
So it's tied with Dylan Cease's slider is probably the most elite pitch in the game. If I'm wrong about that, sorry about it. But
that's good company. It's good company.
It's the guy. I mean, he has. Well, you describe what he looks like out there physically, but he
works extremely quickly, and I like that about him. And you can see right. I talked to him after the game, and that's part of his thing. He said he does not question I guess I want to say the sign, the finger the catcher puts down, but now it's the button he pushes. He gets the ball, gets the call, and he's literally starting his delivery. That's the easiest night for the guy running the pitch clock, because there's zero chance he's ever going to have a pitch clock violation. But I think that rhythm really helps him get into that. I think it affects his mentality when you're not second guessing the pitch decision, when you're going right into your windup. And you could see, I don't know that he's like that classic bulldog on the mound. He just looked very much in control, very competent, just really good rhythm. And I think, that was really neat to see.
That's what it looks like, getting hitters out in the zone, coming right at them and trusting your stuff. So when we're talking about Detmers and some of the younger guys with some command issues, great example is young Parker Messick. I mean, he is going to throw strikes. He is going to throw and work quickly. And as a hitter, you better be ready to hit. You better be ready to swing that bat. it keeps his defense sharp too. You're not going to get guys caught on your toes, maybe like one of the Halos was, or on your heels.
Speaking of that, George Clausen was not helped by a fifth-inning error by third baseman Denzer Guzman, who failed to glove a Brian Rocchio one hopper to his right and did not appear to have much urgency as the ball rolled into shallow left field. That allowed Rocchio to get to second base to open the inning, and he later scored on that Jo Adell 2-out RBI single for a 2-1 lead. Now, Denzer has made some really nice plays this year. I have to give him credit. He's looked very good at times, spectacular at times, but and we know errors are going to happen, but Mark, it seemed like you had a little more trouble with what happened after the ball nicked off his glove than the fact that it nicked off the glove in the first place.
I said I would do it. Anyone that fails to hustle is going to get mentioned. He failed to give the effort that I and many others would have liked to see. Looked like the play itself kind of, I'm going to say an ole to simplify it, but he didn't move his feet very well. He was kind of in a shifty type position to begin with.
Hole.
Yeah, and not a great fundamental effort on the initial botched catch, and then just kind of looked at it, and I didn't see an all-out sprint, and Rocchio took it to him. Kind of an awkward slide on Rocchio's part, but that ended up being a double, and Adell came through with an RBI single, so it led to a run on what should have been a very routine out. Overall, I think Guzman has looked quite good at third base. His hitting has gone cold. I believe he's gone 50 or so plate appearances without drawing a free pass. And his challenges need a lot of refinement. So he's a young guy. We know that there are going to be growing pains. You want to see a guy evolving and taking steps in the right direction. This play last night, he hasn't made a ton of errors, although he did have an error the other day as well that cost him the game. I don't know how you want to phrase it, but
yeah, he made the great stop, and then the throw was shanked into the right field. Yeah, I don't know. That's maybe trying to rush it a little bit. Who knows? But yeah, the growing pains are many with these young kids, and it'll be interesting to see with Christian Moore at second. He started a really nice double play in Monday night's game with a backhand flip to Neto. And he almost almost hit a ball out of the park to tie the score in the bottom of the ninth inning. Mark, did you think that ball was out of here?
I certainly think the person, and that's great. I know that it seems the fans they love it. What I think doesn't matter. As an ex-player, I think at times it can be challenging to watch any broadcast. It's not that I disagree with what's being said. Sometimes I've just seen a lot of baseball. So to hear that kind of enthusiasm, and you know what, I don't know what vantage point Wayne and Gooby have. And I guess if I were broadcasting, I'd rather err on the side of getting the dramatic call right than being, looking like I got caught off guard on a play that, has that much impact on a ball game. But my ears are still ringing from what could have been another nice swing. So hopefully
it was.
Christian is able to get things going a little bit. But the Angels right now, not much thump in their lineup, very starved for power. And the bottom portion of their order, Darno, he's an older player, and I think he'll finish out this season, and we'll see as we go. But when you're talking about pieces for the future, there's a few guys that, this might be it for them.
Yeah, and we will close the show with that. Hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate the support. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you next time on Halo Territory.
If you made it this far, you'll love this next video. Check it out right here, and make sure you subscribe to Halo Territory for more Angels coverage like this multiple times a week.